Yeah, is my audio okay? Is my chart okay? Just want to get a yes from you guys, and then we can get going. Audio is okay? Great. Thank you. So, why don't we get started? I think people will slowly join, which is okay. I'll I'm in right now, and then go from there. Best of luck. Hey, I see you're gonna do a stream as well, so hopefully catch that after I finish. Chart zoom in. Is that okay? Hey, thank you. The signalist, thank you very much for the coin. Do the same back to you after I finish. Certainly will do that. So let's get started. It's 15 o'clock GMT. Let's look at what the pairs that I'm in right now. So still in sugar and still in Bitcoin. Um, let's take a look here. So price is, or we already see price hit the previous top now. So my approach is the same. I'll just keep my stop loss at break even. I would like to see what price will do here. Is it going to form continuation, and we're just going to break out from this point forward. Even if it just comes down, trickling down, even fine with just kind of taking a break even here. I do see the more potential out of this. If we zoom out here, we're could potentially just break above this previous high, and then we can certainly get into the next end of sugar, and we're just going to continue climb upwards. So it's all about again your perspective on your trading, what your expectation. So personally, I'm seeing more of a long-term approach. So I'm not worried about potentially missing 1 or 2% here if it's going to take me out, and I'm fine with that. That's already in my. But I do see on a higher time frame that there's a lot more risk reward that I could get. So that's kind of what I'm focusing on more. Okay, so that's sugar. So still in Bitcoin, didn't get tagged out. I think I talked about that in my Telegram. I said this is just a pretty strong spread in my opinion. But I didn't get tagged out, so I'm still in this trade, still kind of just seeing what will happen in this bigger correction. I'm expecting this is going to form something like a continuation already. So I don't see any difference of that price is not going up. It's just whether is it going to complete now or tomorrow or next week. This can certainly just drag on a little bit longer if that's what's going to do, um, or it could just start going as well. So remember when in my weekly outlook with prices only in around this area, I mentioned don't get trapped, right? Don't start buying in this area because this is exactly what the price is doing. Is all these down move on the price is just happening a lot of FOMO buyers, so to speak, and a lot of people just getting tagged out in this area. You can clearly see that is exactly what happens, right? And once all these position gets tagged out, once the price build up enough momentum to form another continuation, it's just going to take off again, right? And many people are just going to off, and they're just going to be very upset at themselves, right? So if Bitcoin is going up, of course it will be, and there's always going to be so many more entries along the way, right? So don't get trapped in these areas. This is how you take a lot of unnecessary trade when a better entry set up or a better uh, opportunity present itself, and you're gonna miss some of that. Okay. Yeah, flu. Yeah. Actually, I'm just having a nose allergy, so hopefully not sick. Hopefully. Why every time you say same thing, nothing new? Because that's what the market is doing right now, right? If it's going to develop more, certainly I'll say more. But if not, then it's not, right? So good morning, good morning. Nice to see you guys on YouTube as well. Great. So why don't we continue to a couple other things I'm looking at? Let's start with crypto. Let's start with crypto now. Finish kind of what pairs I'm looking at for the next 24 to 48 hours. So what's my target for Bitcoin? Really no target. I can hold it indefinitely or whatever. I'm just because it's all-time high now, so there's really no previous top or anything like that. Certainly is something that you can hold for a long term as an investment, right? So I don't really have a target at this point. Obviously, if it continue going up and if it forms bigger kind of reversal, kind of bearish move, then certainly I can adjust my stop loss. But for now, I'm fine with as it is. So let's look at Stellar here. I'm still very interested in Stellar. I didn't get in any of the buy here, but I did made analysis here because I do like the overall bullish kind of price action. We had a push up, and then we had a larger, deeper correction. This is to me a continuation flag structure. At least we have few swing highs and few swing lows. And the latest price, like I mentioned in the weekly outlook, we had this impulse down from the bearish impulse down, but instead of continuation, we have a bullish reversal up, and then forming continuation correction, and we had that, which is all good in my opinion. Now, for me, for a confirmation would be if the price can continue higher and then continue with another continuation would be nice. I don't need to get worried to miss out profit all this area. Looking at it from a higher time frame perspective, there's a lot of space to the upside, so it certainly can take off. And again, I want to be in the impulsive phase, right? I don't want to be in the consolidation phase, which is what it is right now. Still, there's still a possibility that price can just hit the top and then move down once more before it goes up again. And like I mentioned, structurally nothing changes. So in this correction, but once the correction is finished, then we're likely to see the next impulsive phase of the market. Okay, and if we look at the higher time frame here, um, you can see that all this period that we were in before is just a big period of consolidation and bear. And finally, we had some bullish move and then potentially a bullish continuation. And looking at how price has been in the past, certainly this has the potential to continue climbing higher, right? All this consolidation is just building up momentum from the price to reverse back. So that's what I see on Stellar. No target how you trade. That's just for Bitcoin, right? Of course, other players that I trade, of course, there's certain target that you're looking for. Um, but something that really doesn't have previous price action in the past too. So I mean, if you're in Bitcoin, are you going to sell now? Certainly not, right? Because everyone's buying. So you adjust based on what the price action is telling you on different time frames, right? I focus on multi-time frame analysis, so looking at lower time frame for clearly entries and management, and looking at the higher time frame for possible bias. Right, we know when price break the previous top, and then they continue upwards and form continuation, then that is a clear confirmation for me that we're just gonna fall on get into the next bullish trend. It's fine to be looking for entries here. I understand my risks involved. I understand the potential risks involved, and I'm happy to take a trade there even if it's going to give me a loss. My plan was always to enter if a deeper correction form like this. So always have a plan before you enter. And now that we're already going all-time high, there's really no point to be targeting anything unless you guys are talking about target a specific number, right? I personally don't think all these numbers is a target. It depends on what the price is telling you. So start forming potential reversals, right? Price continue to go up, but then start forming clearly some sort of reversal correction on the lower time frame, then that is a clear kind of indication that we might see deeper correction now. We're just going to form a deeper correction and then continue to go afterwards. We have seen this over in the price, right? If we zoom back to where price has been, we have a push up and then slowly we drop down, and then this is clearly a consolidation, and then we start having a bullish push up, larger correction here, push up correction, and we push up. So I certainly do expect a decent, but nevertheless, still continue to go up afterwards. So let's continue. So I mean, looking at this Litecoin, I talked about all these potential entries last time in my weekly outlook. Certainly, some of you guys did catch one of these buys. I personally didn't catch this buy that I pointed out in my trade. So it's pretty much work out as expected. We see price pretty much break above this previous high, and then now I just want to see if we're going to form a continuation here, right? And this continuation here would be ideal to push the price to the next top. We know that on the higher time frame here, this previous next swing high top, right? We impulsively break the previous top, which is great. So if we get a continuation here, I do expect to at least hit the next top, if not continue higher as well. So certainly see a lot of potential on this one here to continue push the price higher. But looking at this, I personally definitely have a strong bias for just a continuation of the bullish trend, right? If we zoom back out here, there's a period of time where price is just in the consolidation. You see there's not in this period in the impulsive phase now. We see a lot of impulses, bigger correction, impulse correction, impulse correction, impulse, right? So certainly expecting to see another correction to continue push the price higher. Any question, let me know. I'm just gonna continue here. Some of you guys talk about Ethereum. Certainly, I thought this is the only entry that I saw looking back at this. So if we didn't get in on this entry, I did not see anything. This is again my point to talk about, fear of missing out. A lot of traders certainly are just jumping in here, right? And they're just getting trapped. They're just getting stopped out here. So my approach is the same. So can we get a little bit more consolidation here, a little bit more corrective, at least showing us that we're price is correcting for the next bullish move, right? After all these correction, we're going to see a lot of the impulses phrase, and certainly is going to be the same here, but preferably a deeper consolidation here that we're able to continue push the price higher. Currencies, yeah, I'm gonna go over them after, okay? Just let me finish the crypto and then I'll jump to other market, all right? I think that's it. These are the only few that I'm looking at for the next couple of days. Like I said, Stellar, and then Litecoin, Ethereum, just waiting for a larger correction, and that's about it. Okay. Any question on crypto, guys, before I jump to other market? So let's continue. Let's continue here. So like I mentioned in the beginning, I'm in sugar. Still looking to see if we get continuation to break above the previous high, or just form a correction here to break up as well. Either at stop loss or break even, and just expecting this bullish move to continue. I do see that this period of consolidation is likely to finish if we break above previous high and continue with a larger correction. Okay, so I still understand that price may bounce back from this top and then continue downwards, right? That's also a possibility. So when you enter trades, when you forecast trades, make sure you think about the contingency and what the price is likely to do, so you have a plan against that when that happens, and you're not panicking or making So let's look at other commodities here. Gold is certainly the one I'm looking at. Main analysis here. Pretty much there's a potential to continue higher here in this area here. So the key here is really just looking for a continuation. Many times in my analysis is that just because price break above, some trend lines or whatever, doesn't mean it's going to continue. The way to confirm is, lower time frame. Do you see continuation price action? Do you see that momentum, building up for the next? That's kind of what I see on gold. If you look at this on a higher time frame, I talk about this many times, is that if we zoom out here, that this overall is just in a massive bullish trend, right? We have seen impulse correction, and impulse up, and now we're just seeing a larger correction making. I actually see these breakouts since compared to 2 days ago when I do the weekly outlook. So this is all good. This is all kind of expected right now, and my approach is just waiting, giving the price a little bit time to correct itself. That's kind of my last confirmation for me to the previous time, right? So alternatively, this I also agree that even though we break out, but if we look at this as a more of ascending structure here, even if we break out and then if there's no continuation here to continue and then sharp move to the downside, then certainly zooming on this, that this structure isn't over. That if we get that, then we understand that the structure is just evolving into a larger structure, and if price push down one more time, this can still work. Like what I said is, we just know that the structure was evolving, it wasn't finished yet, it made a kind of an ascending channel to the top, and then pushed down once more before it takes off. So that's again forecast, and you understand the possibility of the move, so you're not panicking or trade doesn't work out or doesn't present itself. Okay, so it's very key here is don't think of it as right and wrong. Think of it as just probability, because you're gonna be wrong a lot on potential forecast, potential setup. But if you enter a certain trade and you mitigate your loss, right? Because at the end of the day, trading is about risk management. If you can't sustain your capital, if you're over trading, if you're trying to make so much profit in a month, and that usually backfires, and that trader end up usually blowing their account. Is sugar correlated with any currency? I mean, sugar is paired with US dollar, but I don't think it's really to do with US dollar, like the currency US dollar. It's just usually most of the commodities are paired with US dollar. That's all. What do you consider higher time frame, lower time frame? Personally, higher time frame is just anything above daily. So daily, weekly, or monthly. But I personally really only looking at daily and weekly, because they're really telling you the same. It's just, let's say monthly candle, one monthly candle will equal to like 4 weekly candle, or equals to like 20 daily candles, right? It's kind of the same idea here. So, but the daily gives you me a little bit better overview of the market, because I could just zoom out like this, and really it's the same thing as I'm looking at the monthly. It's just a shorter time frame. That's all, right? But daily, I actually get a little bit more detail. So that's higher time frame, and lower time frame, I would say anything under 4 hours. So 4 hour, 2 hour, 1 hour, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, etc. Um, and I talk about this in my multi-time frame video, is that I would always do a top-down multi-time frame analysis approach, because I weigh heavier on my analysis on trade. And then once I have a bias, right? You're always gonna have a bias when you trade, whether buy or sell. If I have a bias for a long, and then I will go down to the lower time frame to look for confirmation, to look for possible entries, and then to look for a better risk reward entry. Knowing that the higher time frame direction, you can enter these lower time frame positions with a better risk reward, right? Dollar peso, I'll go over that after these. So that's commodity, guys. Why don't we finish looking at before we jump into currency? Any question, just let me know, guys. So looking at let's look at Dow Jones here. Personally, really favor some of these US indices. They're just as they keep correcting in this correctional fashion, it just gives you a so much better potential for the reversals. All right, so let's take a look here, and we know that this was the previous top. This was the previous kind of ascending structure before the drop for COVID, and this price is exactly where it is, and it's good that we're not just continue upwards in a bullish kind of fashion, right? We're correcting. This is clearly a consolidation. This is clearly a correction in the making, right? We're not getting continuation correction to push the upside. We're getting more trapping a lot of buyer and seller here, and then once all these positions fill, once the momentum is breached, we're just likely to see the next drop off from here, right? So I like the overall higher time frame that in this bigger kind of expanding structure, there's potential to complete. Personally, my experience, we don't really need to hit the top of the trend line, whatever. It's about what the price is doing within this higher time frame structure. Clearly, to me, this is a more of like a parallel channel or ascending kind of structure. We're just correcting in this fashion. And as long as price is within this kind of channel structure, you can just move up and down, up and down, up and down. I'm not interested in any of that, but I will be interesting if we kind of just consolidating here and then we break out and then continue lower with another correction here, right? Certainly, this is just going to be a better, safer kind of entry than you entering here, right? But again, I talk about this is not there's no right and wrong when it comes to trading. It's about your trading plan, your risk management, and your expectation of trading. If you enter here, certainly you're going to get more risk reward, but your entry is riskier. If you enter here, you're going to get a little bit less profit, but your entry is safer, right? So there's really that's good. That's how I see in trading. There's no right and wrong. It's just what suits you as a trader, right? So but downside wise, certainly possible, certainly more risk reward in my opinion for this move to happen. And if we continue breaking out, then certainly going down to the next previous low is also very possible. Yeah, I can go over Nikkei after. Let me just highlight that. Let's continue. So you Russell 2000, talk about this in a weekly outlook that we're just in this ascending channel. It's kind of an expansion of this overall structure that we're in. It's good that we break the top, we break the previous all-time top, but to me, this is not in a impulsive phrase. This is just in a corrective phrase, right? So this is just continuously correcting, moving up, and we get this head and shoulder, right? We talk about this in the weekly outlook when it's around this area I mentioned. If we get a head and shoulder here, we break out, and then if we can complete the structure here, then certainly I see the move to continue to the previous low here. Zooming out here, see this is how the indices has been moving all the time, right? We see these kind of ascending structure over and over in the market, and we understand that when ascending structures happen, we tend to see that reversal from the market. So it's key to just kind of understand that before it happens, what tendency you want to see from the market, what price you want to see from the market, so that it gives you a little bit more confirmation for that potential entry. So let's continue. S&P 500, so very similar like the other indices that we've been talking about. I like how we were in this kind of expanding structure, and then we extend into this ascending channel. Price is rather corrective within this kind of channel, and we finally get a little bit bearish move during the weekly outlook emission. Let's look for a correction here. Better yet, a correction after we break out from here would be the safer entry, and that's always going to be my entry personally, because it adds a little bit more confluence that we break out of the structure and we form a continuation to push lower. To continue, I expect it to continue all the way to the bottom here, potentially completing this overall structure, and then we can kind of reevaluate to see if we're going to get reversal and we're going to continue upside now, or we're going to downside afterwards and continue downwards more and more. All right, if we get this move to happen, certainly I will be looking for a sell down to the low here. All right, so that's S&P 500. Last one is NAS. So NAS also looking very good, looking better now than, to be honest, than S&P 500. We have this kind of a rising wedge, and we had kind of a clear breakout as well. This is all good for potential looking for bearish kind of price action, and you can see again that head and shoulder pattern that it's developing here. We want to look for a right shoulder, a continuation correction. That I talk about is just one is a little bit faster, one is a little bit behind. But price action from this point of view, we're at all-time high. We've been climbing up all this since. We had this larger correction, and normally after these kind of larger expanding structure, we're rather very corrected kind of price action. This is clearly to me a reversal correction rather than continuation. So that's why my bias here is looking for a sell if we get a little bit lower time frame kind of bearish momentum here. So that's NAS. Let's go over a few other ones really quickly. So Singapore 30, we're still in this kind of a correctional period, right? The higher time frame is just going to give you a better kind of bias of the potential sell. So you can see that we're in this larger correction now. We had this double top here, and we finally get this lower time frame push down. And as this correction goes deeper and deeper, it's just giving you a little bit more confluence that we can see the next sell-off. And there's two options that I'm looking at this, because this is a deeper correction now. So I'm not too surprised if this makes another push to the upside and forming a reason double top, and then we still drop like this, forming an M style pattern. Or this is all the correction we need. Eventually, we're just going to see breakout and lower time frame continuation to push the price all the way to the bottom of this structure here. Right, so that is Singapore 30. So someone asked about Nikkei. I didn't see too much on this. That's why I don't even have any lines between. I can see what you're talking about. If this is what you're looking at, kind of a ascending structure, yes. But on higher time frame, do I see anything? I see this as more of a kind of a continuation now, larger, kind of deeper continuation. We pushed up. Originally, I was looking at this area for a potential short. This looks like a good ascending channel within this larger structure. Potentially a reversal can be ideal, but push up is pretty impulsively. Yes, we're getting a little bit of a kind of ascending channel structure, but this can just be a small push down to the bottom here, and then just resuming its trend afterwards, right? So just have to watch out on your risk reward on this one. So that's why I see on Nikkei here. On my kind of go to watch this, that's why I didn't highlight it, but I just think there's other indices that looks a little better, a little bit more confluence for the sell. Aussie 200 is certainly one of them. I like how we're in this expanding structure, and then last bit of prices in this kind of ascending. Very corrective, right? It's not going anywhere at this point. So confirmation, like I said, is waiting for a breakout followed by a continuation though. And then, I always want to go through these ones, but German 30 and prime area now where a short is very ideal, right? We're in this larger expanding structure and smaller ascending structure here. Personally, I won't be entering any sells or anything in this area because understanding how price likely to work, we can just correct it. From here would be confirmation for me to continue the price lower. And this is what I just want to go over. This is what multi-time frame analysis is going to help you, is that if you zoom out on the higher time frame, let's say you zoom in, you're seeing these similar structures, right? And they're not going to be exact, but they're very corrective in nature. We see all this movement in the past, and then we see this COVID drop. Of course, we know how can expect this sell-off, but price action, it gives you a little bit idea it's kind of building up price for that move. And similarly, I'm seeing the same thing here. We have larger structure on a higher time frame and smaller lower time frame correction. It just adds confluence to my bias when I'm looking for that potential reversal from the price. So that is all indices I'm looking at. Any question, guys, let me know. And then I will go into currency after. Are you looking at 88 Cardano? I don't think that's on my watch. We can take a look really quick before I jump into currency. I think this is one of those ones that's been pushing up very aggressively. So I didn't catch any of these, of course, but looking back at it, I do like how we had this kind of larger correction. We push up, and this is a correction here, right? So this is one of those correction after breakout I talk about in my entries. And because we pushed up already pretty impulsively, I'm not even seeing an entry. I don't see this as an entry yet, but I think we missed the entry here already, in my opinion. If this was the buy, this is clearly a good buyer, a breakout from the larger correction, right? If we zoom out on the higher time frame, the next top is still quite a bit away, so there's certainly more room to the upside. This is the same thing as I talk about the other crypto is we have been a large kind of consolidation or correctional phrase. We finally see some bullish move, bullish correction, another bullish move, another bullish correction. So certainly waiting for another bullish correction would be nice to continue to the previous top here at least and see what price will do area. I like this overall kind of what I call a scoop formation. All this kind of price is, all blank here, right? But it gives you a little bit clarity is that all this consolidation is just building up that we had this impulse down, a neutral kind of correction, more of a optional period, and then we start resuming the bullish trend. But I see this move a lot, right? You see price push down and then longer neutral period correction, and then just resume back up afterwards. Seeing this kind of move a lot in different kind of market. So on Cardano, but I didn't get in any of these. Yeah, I'll go over Kiwi dollar, all that. So back after a long time Nifty, sure. I was looking at Nifty. I can still see it work out. Looking at what the price is doing now. Remember, we broke previous high before the COVID. This was the COVID drop. We recover all this price, and we continue to move up. But I'm not seeing this. I'm not convinced this is a bullish continuation. Yes, we're moving up slowly, okay, but we're moving up very correctively, right? We know these are the indices move. We always see these indices move in the past where they correctly move up, move up, move up, and then eventually we fall, right? Most of the back testing, you'll see what I mean, is that price always correctively move up and then sharp move to the downside. Okay, you're going to see that in any of the indices most of the time, right? This is just the market prepare itself for the sell-off, right? It kind of prepare itself because it lures in a lot of impatient buyer or FOMO buyers, and then once all the positions they're in, once the price correctly push up to a certain time, then you're likely to see the sell-off on the price. Long time no see. Have a great New Year. Yeah, hope you're well, Johanna. What's my opinion on electric car company? Not too much if you're talking about like Tesla and stuff. I can go over Tesla after, but I personally don't have any electric car companies stocks or anything like that at the moment. So NAS 100, just went over that, but just looking forward to see what the price will do in this area, form a right shoulder here to continue the price down more. That's all I see here. I like this kind of a rising wedge expansion of this structure here. So I more favor and I like that bias for the sell down to the low here if that's going to form and complete. Yeah, happy New Year to everyone. Great. So let's continue. So no other questions on indices. Let's go over all the currency pairs. Let's continue. Sorry, I was reading some messages. So let's look at dollar index. I like, again, I talk about dollar index every week. I like how price is consolidating here. I mentioned that we're getting a deal of a construction now. So what I want to see is actually a completion of this area. We know that there's a possibility that we can drop all the way to the previous low, which is in this area. We're still a little bit away, but I like how we're kind of just correctly moving down now. This can be a kind of a descending channel. Can just kind of correct all the way down. I think that's one possibility. Or we may be seeing a reversal soon before we even reach the bottom. So there's always a couple possibilities when I see these. Personally, I want to wait for this correction to finish and then a strong bullish push to the upside. But if that doesn't happen, if that just kind of if price just continue kind of move down correctively, then I want to see what the price will do when we just kind of correct all the way to the bottom, and then see if we can get a reversal from the bottom or price dollar continuation to the downside. All right, so certainly seeing dollar is not getting too much strength at the moment. Okay, but I want to kind of always calculate or always forecast different possibilities on prepare for any kind of movement. Continue lower and lower as well, right? So always keep in mind, I'm not married to my analysis. If prices continue to break lower and then we form clearly continuations, then certainly I'll be looking for further dollar weakness from this point forward and then continue to drop, right? So you just have to prepare yourself for any kind of scenarios, in my opinion. Kiwi dollar, yeah, I'm gonna jump into it now. So give me a sec. So that's dollar index here. Let's look at a few dollar pairs. Few dollar. So remember in the weekly outlook, I talk about if you're going to enter short here, just remember like the risk you involve, right? It's the same example I mentioned. Um, there's obviously sales to the lows here if you get in, and then there's sales once you risk over a possibility. So it's whether or not you want to be a little bit more safer. You were looking for a confirmation breakout followed by a correction, or you're looking for riskier entries, but definitely more reward when that comes. So how do I see how most of the dollars they push down now we're pushing back up? So what does that mean? Well, this is can be just a larger kind of consolidation. We can see just a little bit more movement from this area now. Okay, so don't be too formal here. Certainly, if you jump into the sell once it pushed down, you should have moved to break even more in this area, right? I talk about confirmation a lot. It's just a word I use all the time. It's just there's always going to be entries, there's always going to be setups, but do they are those entries, that work with your plan, right? You want to follow your plan when you're looking for entries, or are you just entering based on emotion? All right. So personally, my plan is always risk management first, and that's why I'm not, worried about trying to jump into a sell here and then thinking I'll miss all this profit if it continues more. I'm more saying, I'm more thinking, well, I want to see a confirmation that this correction is finished, that we can potentially see the more downside, and there's certainly a lot more room to the downside as well. All right. So let the price correct itself in this way. Until we see sharp move like this, I'm not really interested. You can just move up and move up like this for a period of while and eventually build up enough momentum to push the price down more. All right. So that's Aussie dollar, Kiwi dollar that you guys are asking. Again, same idea, right? This is the first potential entry, but it's the riskier one, like I mentioned. So, but structurally, we're still in this expanding structure. So, and we're just waiting to see what the price will do in here. You're seeing a little bit of lower time frame move, all this, but that price is not going too much right now. It's not going anywhere at this moment. And what will happen here is very key. Is it going to just consolidate more and more and more in this area, and then just building up enough momentum for that reversal from the top here? Okay, so keep an eye on this one. For me is same thing, same approach as Aussie dollar is, can we get a finish of this expanding structure if we just push down more and then followed by correction to continue? On the higher time frame wise, you see that we're at the top of overall correction. We're still in this kind of 4 hour higher time frame kind of expanding kind of parallel channel. So I still favor the sell. I still have a bias for the sell. I just want to see a little bit more commitment or confirmation from the bearish kind of price action. Right now, I'm not seeing too much here for me to justify anything for a sell. But if we get a little bit more strong momentum, a little bit more corrective here, then I will be more interested to possibly look for a sell once this finish here. Okay, so that's Kiwi dollar for you guys. So euro dollar is also interesting. We're still in this kind of ascending channel though, so anything can happen. I talk about this in a weekly outlook that it can still correct itself like this for a period of time. And I don't want to get trapped in the area, even though I see a potential ascending channel within the larger structure. This is all good for a potential reversal. But I want to see a confirmation breakout from here and a correction to push down lower. On the higher time frame here, you're seeing that we're pretty much at the top of the overall price action that price has been moving. And I like the corrective kind of price action in the last bit of the price. So this is, in my opinion, all building up for a potential reversal. It's just, is it ready now, or are we going to correct itself a little bit longer before the move to the downside? So this is, again, patience is key here, right? We don't need to rush the trades. You don't need to try to guess where the price will start falling. Once it starts falling, once it gives you that confirmation, there's always going to be entry along the way anyways, right? So it's, again, your perspective on trading, right? You're not trading to maximize single one of the trade. You're never going to catch all these trades from the top to the bottom. That's not how trading works. You're likely to catch trades in the middle, less profit than you can imagine from all the way to top to the bottom. But as a trader, you want to consistently enter these trades and consistently grow your account. All right. So that's euro dollar. I already went over Cardano, Julio. I think Cardano already kind of took off, so there's entries pretty impulsively. I think there's entries that we missed already. These are the entries that I mentioned, but if they continue going up, right, there's certainly more correction that will form. But I'm not seeing anything at the moment here, okay? You enter. Well, what do remember I talk about multi-time frame analysis, right? Multi-time frame analysis, higher time frame, I'm gonna have a bias, and on the lower time frame, I need to see confirmation from the market. So let's say euro dollars example is a confirmation breakout, right? The people always think, oh, breakout, you trade breakout strategy. No, it's not breakout strategy. It's more, when I say breakout, what I mean is a completion of this correction. So I want to see a completion of this ascending channel structure because the correction. So also I understand that this correction is finished, and I want to see lower time frame continuation correction because that is how the price moves. So first bearish breakout of the bearish impulse, and then second is a confirmation look correction price look for me. Again, when I talk about this, I always say, don't just believe what I said. If you do back testing, do a little back testing, right? That's how you're gonna learn as a trader. Is you need to back test yourself. Trading doesn't come to you instantaneously, right? That's how the price tend to move up and move down in that fashion. Then you'll get more confidence when you're looking for these entries because that's how the price moves, right? When people are more skeptical about haven't done enough back testing, so they're not sure are these the entries to take, are they going to work out? It's not going to work out, yes or no, right? It's about probability, as I always mention. Think about this. If an example is, if you just close your eye and then you decide to go long or go short, you're gonna work out sometimes at the time, right? I think everyone will agree is you close your eye, you flip a coin, right? You're going to land on head or tail. It's the same as trading. I can close my eye, then I decide to buy or decide to sell, right? There's always a percentage of the time it will work out to go up, and there's a percentage of the time it will go down, right? I think everyone would agree on that. But how do you have a better edge on your side, right? How do you enter trades that will give you better probability setup? It's exactly what I meant, confirmation, right? So do you wait for the retest? No, I wait for correction. Sure, there's some breakout back retest strategies. I don't really talk about retest, more about correction. Right? I want to see correctional structure to push the price down more. Okay, so probably in other people's eye that is a retest because it's retesting, but to me is forming correction next move is going to be my confirmation. So let's talk about pound dollar. I think most of you guys are asking me about pound dollar. And I always talk about pound dollars is why I'm not always on my watch list, any of the pound pairs. And I talk about this every time because we're in this consolidation. I don't prefer to trade. And some of you guys private message me and say, do you mean that pound dollar will not go? It's not that I don't think the pound dollar will go. It's more that if I'm picking through all the dollar pairs as an example, in my opinion, I need to filter the dollar pairs. I need best $1 or $2 pair if I'm going to get in. I'm not going to enter all the dollar pair. Like I'm not going to enter the pound dollar. I'm not going to enter euro dollar, Kiwi dollar, Aussie dollar all at the same time. It doesn't make sense. Like there's no risk management involved. Sure, if the dollar gets strength, all your trades will work. But what if to weaken? Then all of your trades will be at a loss, right? And I think this is what a lot of beginner traders don't understand. The concept is they think the more trades they enter, they can grow their account exponentially. Sure, that's one side of you're seeing, but the other side that you're missing out is if the account you're exponentially as well. So you hear people blowing their account, that's exactly why, right? They're taking multiple positions on the same pair or same currency. They're revenge trading, they're over leveraged, they're opening multiple positions. So that's how quick a person can blow an account, right? So risk management in this business is understanding risk management. That's the best way I can put it for, right? I'm only going to pick one or two, probably just $1 pair if I'm going to get in on the dollar pair because that is my risk management. I don't need to waste extra percentage of my same dollar. If they don't work out, I don't want to take 3 or 4 losses at the same time. Especially if you're trading a larger account, you just wouldn't take so much multiple position at a time because you're just putting your account at a huge risk exposure that yourself cannot handle, or if you have investment handle in that sense. Pound dollar, I'll go over after. I'm going down the list like that. So let's continue. So pound dollar, like I mentioned, it's not that it will not go. Okay, so let me get that straight. But what I do see here, I do see some of you guys also thinking is this is a potential correction, and I do agree that this can be a correction. We had this impulse down. This can be a continuation correction. We push down lower, right? We have a small ascending channel leading to pretty much to the top of this structure that we have been in for so long, right? But you can see that the sell that we have been seeing, they're not taking off too far, right? You can see we have a few sell set up, we push down, but we just never even reach the bottom here. And the price just start reversing. So if you're into short-term trades, like you're looking for, get in and get out or whatever, certainly there is some merit, some potential in this. But I just don't want to see profit comes and profit go, price push to the downside and it just reverse back up. And if you just, say your stop loss to break even, you might miss like 2-3% and you're gonna get very upset, right? So my approach is the same thing with pound yen is I'm fine missing profit here if it's going to take like this, but the more profit is to make when the price actually break out from this correction here. So the completion of this higher time frame correction and continuation after we break out that structure. There's so much room to the downside. If you just zoom out here on the higher time frame, I'm fine missing profit here, but I'm okay to catch the profit down to the lows here. It's that simple, right? I don't need to be FOMO thinking I need to capture the entire run. Again, that's not how trading is. I find entering a position here, getting certain percentage here, and I'm getting out and I'm happy profit and I move on. Right? It's just all perspective, guys. If you have a perspective to think you're gonna, if you're gonna make so much profit in a month, you're likely to backfire and you're gonna overtrade and you're gonna lose potential money of your capital, right? But if you have a more consistent approach, more more systematic approach, then trading is gonna work out for you in time, because that's how trading is. If you're doing trading, you'll want to do trading for the next 20, 30 years, 40 years, whatever you wish for. You're not looking to get in trading for 1 year, maximize profit, and then leave trading forever. People who tend to lose all the money in first few months anyways. No, not a newbie question. What if the trend is down and I get a bullish flag pattern and the price broke above the flag formation? Should I enter on that buy trade? Pretty much you're saying like something like this, in my opinion. This is dollar CAD, right? We are in a downtrend, but we have a flag. I think this is what you're saying. Hopefully that is right. Um, you have to factor in a little bit more few things here, and this is what I explained on dollar CAD as example is because the higher time frame has the structure, we push down, and originally I was looking at this as a reversal structure and we push up. If this flag is a little bit better, a little bit more uniform, like something like this, then it's a better buy opportunity than something like this, which is more slanted. It's kind of moving down correctively, and it can just move down to the previous low, which is what it is now, and continue to drop afterwards, right? So your flag should be looking very, I guess what I want to say, tight and evenly. Okay, this is more like slanting down, and you can see this already hits the previous low, right? So that kind of just discount itself as a flag kind of continuation, right? You want to have a push up and a uniform kind of flag like this to continue. Okay, so dollar CAD, same approach here. Because it hit all the time to the low here, I didn't really like that this structure not looking like a continuation. So I'm kind of expecting, are we going to see bigger a continuation correction now for all this move? Right, we can potentially move up and then just move down afterwards. It's not very impulsively, right? I want to originally see more of an impulsive move up. This looks like it's going to form a deeper correction here, and so I'm not too interested at the moment on this one. Okay, someone asked me to go over this one. Like I said, it was looking great when it was in this area, but not looking as good now as price developed into this. Okay. I'm covering most of the screen. My like you mean the webcam or what? I think this is what you meant, right? Okay, I'm gonna try to zoom to the left a little bit more like this, right? So dollar yen, so yen. This is where price is at currently, and I talk about this is that I don't really like to trade dollar yen when when I have a bias of dollar gaining strength or yen gaining strength at the same time. What I see here is see a correction consolidation, and it's looking like as this correction keep going on, we can potentially see a reversal because this is more of a descending kind of structure, descending formation. So it's kind of building on momentum to reverse. But we're so far away from the previous low. Bottom before it goes, certainly possible as well. Um, I only see a potential if we continue break above and then continue higher like this, right? Other than that, this can just consolidate here indefinitely, and I'm not really interested in this kind of price, any kind of bullish price action at the moment, right? This is just a correction. This is just period consolidation, so no clear kind of direction for me at the moment. All right. So that's all the dollar pairs, guys. Any question, let me know, and then we can continue afterwards. Can you go over Aussie Yen? I will go over Aussie Yen after. So let's continue. Let's continue here. So let's look at a few Aussie pairs that I originally was looking at. We did see price kind of push down from here and then was potentially forming a continuation correction here. But we just didn't get the price breakout, right? We see that it was trying to form a continuation, which is good. We have a potential tendency of a correction, but this just doesn't come down. It just didn't break this structure. It did larger ascending channel. So really no entry here. Um, Whereas this is slowly climbing up. Can we get another push to the upside and then still drop downwards? Certainly possible. Okay, so as I always said, sometimes the correction and structure is still evolving, right? It's not completing yet. We have a good understanding of when and how the correction likely to finish, but this is a prime example where price pushed down, but pushed to the bottom of the structure. It didn't break out. There's no continuation. Instead, we just pop to the upside once more, and that just shows you that the correction is not finished yet. It can drag on a little bit longer and then still down afterwards. Higher time frame perspective, I like we are at this previous top now, so a potential double top here. It's moving very ascending like, so this is all good for that potential reversal. It's just not ready at the moment, right? And my bias is still for that sell if we get that clear kind of price. Can be looking at an M style pattern here, push the top here, and then drop out from here and continue lower. Right? Also a head and shoulder here as well. So stacking confluence, stacking positive confluence in your favor will give you a better probability setup here. Go check Bitcoin and Ethereum. I did go over those already. I can quickly jump over them really quick. Nothing much yet, right? Like I said, waiting for it to see what will happen in this bigger consolidation. Is it going to kind of building up momentum to form a continuation correction to take off? Ethereum, I mentioned this was the only entry in my scene. Once price start going like this, then I expect a bigger consolidation to the upside. And Stellar is still my favorite to be looking for potential push up from this correction. I will be looking for a breakout from this larger correction and then continue higher from here. This is certainly my go-to setup, correction after breakout. So let's continue. I got a question. I got two questions. I think maybe some of you guys entered the sell here, and then we break down, but then just didn't continue. So again, if you got into these sells and when price breakdown, you should certainly move your stop loss to break even, right? This is how you're going to protect your capital. And again, this is a good example of we had a push down of the structure, but was there a continuation correction? Right? Was there a continuation correction to push the price lower? Did it continue lower? No, it did not, right? So this is how you filter out or save yourself to enter these, is that if you enter from the top here, great, then you certainly will stop loss to break. You certainly won't lose money, or you might get a little bit of profit once it starts going up. And because we didn't form a continuation once we break out here, that means that structurally, like Aussie Cat, this structure isn't finished, right? You evolve the structure now. You know that this can be a deal. I think right, this can just slowly move up once more to the top and then still drop down there moving forward. Okay, and this is key here is that if you didn't see a continuation here, you start seeing reversal up, then chances are when you see a deeper correction in this area before the next drop here, right? So that's kind of how to answer the question. Again, entering here, more risk reward, but more risky. But entering after a confirmation, I'll always be a little bit safer for the entries. I'm still confused about entry technique, immediate buy and sell after breakout or specific candle. No, it's about a correction on the lower time frame, a continuation correction on the lower time frame to give you clarity. So for example, you see how sugar, I'm just giving you an example here. This is a larger correction, right? We had a lower time frame breakout from that correction here. So lower time frame breakout from the correction. My confirmation is a lower time frame continuation correction, which is what this is. We break out, we form continuation correction, and we take off. And that's going to be my entry. I always do stop entry orders. Okay, I always set entry orders. I don't usually do market orders. So I set entry orders for me to tag into the price, and then we continue higher. Okay, so look like sugar is continue higher, which is good. You know, I want to see sugar break the previous high, continue, and then continue higher, 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 right? I'm still in this trade. I'm not taking all here. This is just my initial kind of risk reward thing. Sorry, position, right? I talk about this ultimately higher time frame. I'm looking for me to hold this, continue to the upside. Okay, so that should be that. Hopefully, answer your question, Prince. So let's continue. Aussie Yen. So talk about Aussie Yen here. I like where we are right now in terms of structure. This is a good example that we could see the reversal. And again, is this ready now or is it not ready yet? We're in this larger kind of expanding structure. So clearly we have a few swing highs and few swing lows. One possibility is, like I mentioned here, is that potentially we can make a push to the upside. So completing this 1, 2, 3 structure and then look for a sell from the top. That's one possibility higher. Or if we just see kind of reversal from this ascending channel already because we're at this kind of double top area, then we can get a push down from the price followed by a continuation down. So those are the two kind of options that I'm seeing right now for Aussie Yen. Because we're still consolidating, this is like it can be a bullish move. So if that happens, then let the price push all the way to the top here. That would be a better entry in my opinion. We push the upside and then we see reversal price action from the price and looking for entry from the top to the. You want to wait for a little bit more confirmation. You know that this becomes a longer ascending channel if it pushes itself up, then wait for price to break below the structure and then look for a sell here would be nice as well. Okay, so that's Aussie Yen for me. Questions? So, let's move on. No question. I can talk about Cat Yen. Julio, I like the simplicity of your explanation. Very easy to learn from. Thank you. No problem. That's the whole point I'm doing all this is to really present trading the way how it makes sense for me. So learner law, thank you very much, sir. Yeah, appreciate it, Prince. So let's continue. Let's continue to Cat Yen. So I like how Cat Yen, I think we talk about this in my Telegram. A lot of you guys are looking at Cat Yen as well. So certainly a possibility to continue lower. We like how that we're in this kind of parallel channel or ascending channel, whatever you want to call it. It's correcting all this move, which is great, right? And this last bit of price action is a little bit swingy, okay? I didn't see, originally I was looking at this is going to be a structure, but as I look more and more and more, you see price break out and then just continue back up. So is this going to form a little bit deeper correction here? It's a little bit hard to tell at the moment. If this pushes up to here and form a correction like this and we break out, certainly that could be one possibility. But for now, not really seeing yet much for the sell. Okay, we certainly have the risk reward in the room for the sell. It's just, is this structure finished, right? And this is a key here. Is this structure finished, or are we going to see like a structure like this now, and then and I think someone mentioned, yeah, a potential double bottom here on the lower time frame, and then this makes a push to the upside and then still drop. So certainly that's one possibility that I see as well. Okay, so we don't need to rush these kind of entries, right? It's going to go. You're going to have entries to the lows, but what people get caught up in is fear of missing out. They want to enter these positions because they think this is going to drop, um, and they're not going to catch all this move, right? Again, the key here is you're going to miss some profit, but it can up giving you a better entry that you're going to make profit on anyways, right? Again, your perspective on trading. Are you looking to maximize every single trade you think you're going to catch at the very high and sell at the very low? Or you understand that you're more looking for confirmation. This is a breakout. This is a confirmation that I personally got in. I looked for the sell, and I'm perfectly happy with the profit or with the reward that I can get. And then I secure profit if that happens, and then I move on to another opportunity and another opportunity. And you consistently doing that on a weekly, monthly, yearly approach. That's how trading is, guys. It's not a one trade and then you become rich instantaneously. That's not how trading works, guys. So Euro Yen. So Euro Yen, talk about this. When price was in this expanding kind of structure originally, to see what we'll do for the price to push down. And as the structure developed more, and I see it more as a potential kind of ascending channel now. So the structure evolves now into more of an ascending channel and still looking for the downside, right? Which is good. Looking for a confirmation breakout. You see, we had this push down here, but there was no continuation to break out, and we kind of just consolidated here in this area. And just because it breaks some trend line doesn't mean it's going to continue. I emphasize this a lot. Is if it's going to want to see, just going to enter blindly because some candlestick break below the trend line, and then you think it's going to completely going off. Right? That's not a good confirmation in my opinion. So seeing this from a higher time frame, there's so much room, right? We're at the previous top, which is great. So certainly a lot of room to the downside if the price develop into. So I don't need to have FOMO here. I don't need to have fear of missing out. It's about capturing the move once it gives you confirmation, and you can enter the probability set up in this area. All right, so that's Euro Yen. So let's continue. Let's continue. So that's all again. Oh, I do see a few. Yeah, some of you guys asked about pound yen and Kiwi yen. So let's talk about pound yen. So my approach on pound yen is really the same, right? Then pound dollar is all this consolidation here. Didn't really like all this consolidation. There was better yen pairs I mentioned, like Aussie yen, CAD yen, or Euro yen. Their price action is a little bit better than this kind of consolidation in this area. So I talk about that in pound dollar. It's about, excuse me, filtering out the trades, right? Filtering out best yen pairs, filtering out best dollar pairs for you to get in. Right? So between the yen pairs, there's a couple yen pairs that are just better than the current pound yen price action. But I can see what you guys are looking at. I can see this is a double top. This is an M style pattern. We push down. We're at the lows here, so be careful here. Is this forming a little bit of a descending channel, or is it going to evolve into a continuation correction? And then we push down from this point forward. Okay, so I can see some of you guys are looking at this one. Again, just to be, just to know that your risk that you're involved, right? Same thing with pound dollar is we have seen these push down from the past before, and they recover rather quickly here. So it can happen again when this price pushed in low. Make sure you move your stop loss or secure some profit, and then worry that this can just bounce back from this point forward. All right. So certainly you don't want to enter a trade, make some profit, and you then move your stop loss, and you end up taking a loss on this trade. This is how a lot of traders have the biggest emotional drama, is they will make money and they didn't secure money, they didn't set break even. Now they take a full loss, right? From winning money to a full loss. That's a huge roller coaster, right, for a lot of beginner traders. Okay, so risk management, right? If your trade turning profits, set it to break even. When price start retracing, don't move your stop loss back to where it is originally because you're hoping it will come down again. Please don't hope in trading, right? The market is just going to do whatever it wants to do. It's not going to listen to you hoping that don't go to my stop loss, right? So you adjust your plan. You have to adjust your mindset when it comes to trading. Okay, so that's what I see on pound dollar. If it forms a correction here, if you guys like these type of entries, then personally, yeah, it could be an entry here, double top M style pattern. But again, just making understand that they can just bounce back indefinitely, and we're just going to see a deeper consolidation here. All right. I went over CAD yen already, right? Did you miss that, Ali? CAD yen, like I mentioned, in the structure here, um, is this all the correction, like a continuation correction for this move, or we're going to get a deeper correction like this and move up once more to the top and then push down this point forward, right? So two possible scenarios in this. Like I said, I'm fine missing out some profit here, but if I can get a confirmation here to sell, I will be looking for that. Pounds, yeah, I went over pounds. Like I said, I'm not favor the pound compared to a couple other dollar pairs, like pound dollar versus other dollar pairs. But I can see why some of you guys are looking to sell. We're at the top of the structure now. We have this ascending channel pushing the price up. We have the first kind of bearish push down, so a bearish impulse on the lower time frame. And is this forming some sort of a continuation correction? Certainly is forming. And certainly, I do see if this continuation work out, we could see the next push down. But same thing with pound yen is I didn't like how all the push down from previous price did not even reach the bottom of the structure here. Instead, we just kind of see reversal up afterwards. So if you're looking for a short here, again, same with the pound yen, you want to move your stop loss. You want to make sure to secure some profit if that's going to start reversing, and then reevaluate accordingly, right? So yeah, no worries. So let's continue. Let's continue to Kiwi yen. Someone asked about Kiwi yen here. I think there's two ways of seeing this, and I'll explain both ways and see what makes sense to you guys. So there's two ways of seeing Kiwi yen. What I meant is, if we're seeing this as a bullish, this is a bullish continuation, then we're pushing out again, and potentially this can continue. Okay, this is one way of seeing this. Or you're seeing this as more of a ascending kind of structure, and then if we push up one more time, completing this ascending channel, there's a good chance that we to kind of choose which bias we want to. Well, what is the higher time frame telling us? Well, this is kind of what I see. We were in this kind of a descending channel, right? We are at the bottom. We had this kind of reversal, right? This is from COVID, if you guys recall. We had push down first continuation correction, and then we push down impulsively. And instead of forming a continuation to go lower, what we're seeing here is a reversal correction, and we push the price up right back, right? And we're forming this kind of a bigger channel clear because we push the upside and we potentially are pushing out of the structure here, but we're not getting a continuation correction. That's always the confirmation I look for. Instead, this to me is very corrective, very consolidated, and in fact, we break the higher time frame structure, but no continuation. Instead, we're forming reversals, right? So to me, I'm more leaning towards a potential reversal sell rather than a continuation on the higher time frame. So as always, this is when you go down to the lower time frame is to look for clarity, look for confirmation, look for a little bit more confluence. All right, so right now, nothing else of yet. This can just trickles up back and forth for a little bit. What I would be more interesting is the push down from the price here, followed by correction, right? Because this can looking like we can form a head and shoulder here. We push down and then form a right shoulder correction, and we just continue to go. Okay, so that's my kind of my approach on this. Not really into the buy. I don't see the buy on the higher time frame. I see a more of a potential reversal. Okay, so that's my take on Kiwi yen at the moment. But again, there's better yen pairs right now than Kiwi yen. That's why I'm not interested in at the moment. Pay more attention to your health. Yeah, I'm not sick. I appreciate you guys asking. I'm really not sick. I have nose allergy and I cough here and there because I've been talking a lot these days. I got an overwhelming a lot of people asking me about coaching stuff, and I've been setting up sessions, so I'm pretty exhausted. I'm talking, so sometimes I'm doing these strings. I've been talking pretty much nonstop for almost an hour, 20 minutes or something. Sometimes it gets a toll on my throat. I'm fine. I'm not sick or anything. I appreciate that though. Thank you. Let's talk about Euro Aussie. I think some of you guys are still looking at Euro Aussie. Remember the weekly outlook I talked about? This is the kind of a double bottom area that to watch out. Is we going to continue lower? So we had the price push down. Remember during this area, I said don't just jump into the sell. You want to look for a clear confirmation correction. You can see that price kind of just I want to say punish a lot of impatient sellers because when this is going to start dropping now. I need to get in now. But instead, price just made a quick pullback and then tagging a lot of traders out. It looks like it's going to continue. Well, my approach is the same. I want to see a continuation here, and then we come down there, and we continue go down. Then I would be more interested in this. On a higher time frame perspective, this is still strong impulse. This is a larger correction. We're pushing out now, so the key here is, are we going to get lower time frame continuation here? I'm not convinced this is all it is to it. Okay, I want to see a little bit deeper structure, and then that's going to be a little bit more confluence for me to look for a sell. The reason being is because we have already been dropping quite a bit, right? This is still pretty big drop. It's just in a corrective fashion in this area, but this is still very impulsive. Okay, so, and I want to go over Euro Kiwi as well because they're very similar. Is that Euro Kiwi, again, we pushed down from there. Remember, I talked about, okay, we didn't break the previous low, or we just touched it. We want to wait for confirmation here or wait for a breakout confirmation to go. But instead, price kind of retrace back up, right? So same thing with Euro Aussie. A lot of traders might jump into this area. Again, fear of missing out, thinking this is going to start dropping more and more and more. And then just a quick pullback to take all of them out. So my approach, similar like Euro Aussie, is this going to form a correction here? I would be more interested to look for a potential entry in this area. We have been dropping quite a bit already, right, from the top here, and but it did form a larger correction here, which is good. But not convinced this is going to take off from this point forward. All right, so waiting for a little bit more development would be nice. Hey, I'm new to Forex. I know what resistance or support is and what it does, but how do you use it? How do you know how? I'm sorry, I personally don't use support and resistance. You don't see the support resistance line on my chart. So, um, I of course I know what support resistance are, but I don't trade that way. So, um, you know, you're welcome to check out other people who use support resistance. Personally, I'm just focusing on price action analysis. I think someone asked about Euro Swiss, so I'll go over Euro Swiss. I don't really trade Euro Swiss. I think I've mentioned this a few times. I don't like the consolidation price, but I do see a potential out of this. I do see that we had this push up to the upside, and all this correction price push down once to the bottom, but this could be a double bottom here in the making. We're not pushing out aggressively, and that's kind of why I'm not too favor for a potential buy. I think that's what you're looking for. This kind of period of consolidation, I'm not really liking it. This could be forming a continuation like this, like how we've been correctively moving down, and there's a few correction in there. So impulse correction, impulse correction, impulse, and is this going to be a larger correction to continue? Right, and this is why when I see conflicting bias or possibility for both direction, I tend to sell from this. Both merit would work, both direction may make sense. So I don't need to guess, right? I hate guessing when it comes to trading. I want to have a bias for a long, or I want a bias for a sell, and I want to have as much confluence as I can to add to that trade so I can better execute it without worry about the trade. Okay, I think that's the key. Is I don't check my phone every minute. And I talk about this in trading psychology. One of my videos is checking your phone every minute or every whatever. It's just going to create so much emotion for you, and it's just not worth it, right? Because checking your phone on your position is not going to change the fact that it's winning or losing ever. I think everyone would agree on that, right? If I can look at my phone and I'd be like, hey, I hope this goes up to my direction, then I will go sell my house to go trade, right? That's not how trading works. When your trade works out, that's when you fall into that emotional drama where everything you do is emotional now in trading. So my advice is to eliminate emotion out of your decision. Eliminate emotion from your trading is going to make trading a lot easier. Kiwi Cat, let's go over Kiwi Cat. I know some of us are still looking at Kiwi Cat, myself included. So here is Kiwi Cat here. Again, this is a prime example that I talk about is we break out of the correction and we're potentially right. I talk about these kind of correction after breakout. The best way to capitalize on it is setting entry orders, right? Setting entry order below that correction that it's forming. So if it continues, it's going to tag you in. It's going to tag you into the sell. But if it doesn't, then you save yourself. There's no. I don't do market order a lot, guys. When you do market orders, you're likely to be enter a sell here. You're like, okay, this is going to take off now. At the time, let's say this is all you're seeing. You're like, okay, this is potentially a correction in the making. I want to get in at the best that this will start dropping like this. Sure, it will work out sometimes. That's how trading is. I talk about its probability, right? Sure, if you alternate a sell, that will work out sometimes. But is this a completion of correction? Do you have confirmation? Is structured. If not, then you enter the sell a little bit prematurely, and then sometimes it's just going to take you out, which is in this case it did, right? So setting the entry order is going to give you that one extra confluence that if the trade doesn't continue to tag you in, then you're not in the trade and you're not at a loss and you're not at an emotional drowning because you're going to be looking at this as why you enter at the top here and then price just continue push up and you just take an unnecessary loss in this area, right? So how I see on Kiwi Cat now, well, still possibility, right? Again, structure is evolving, right? Structure, that's just, we evolve the trend line here. That shows you that the structure can potentially move up one last time. So which is what it's doing now. Let's see if what will happen when we reach the top. So a reason double top, an M style pattern reversal and potentially breaking out and then look for continuation. Okay, so my approach is the same, guys, right? Don't get trapped in these kind of setups. I tend to see a lot of traders get FOMO and fear of missing out. It's the number one demise in trading. Is your mind is telling you, if I don't enter here, this is going to take off without me. The market never moves that fast where you won't be able to capture something, guys. When this breaks out, even if you miss a potential entry here or whatever, when this breaks out, there's going to be lower time frame correction. There's always going to be lower time frame correction because that is how the market moves, right? You have to backtest enough. You have to do enough chart work where all this becomes second nature to you, right? And all these move branded in your head so you know when you're looking for entry, you have confidence to enter a trade. Right? But if you don't do enough chart work, all you do is kind of looking at people and thinking, okay, he's talking about a sell, I'm going to enter a sell. And then you feel very emotional when the trade doesn't happen. Then do a little bit more chart work, guys. Right? You have to let trading come to you. Okay, you have to let your brain accept that that's how trading is. The more and more you do backtest, the more and more you see previous price action, how it works in the past, the better it is for your brain to acknowledge trading possibilities. And once you won't be worried about it, you just let the trade run. If it takes you out, that's so be it, right? But if it goes onto your profit, there you go, you earn some profit, right? So keep the emotion out of trading. That's going to help you in the long run, guys. So last one to go over here, Kiwi Swiss. So Kiwi Swiss, I'm still looking at this. I think some of you guys asked me, are you still looking for sale? Yeah, I'm still looking for sale because I like the overall high time frame structure. We're in this kind of expanding structure, previous top, so a double top here. We push down. We're just having a little bit of expanding structure on the lower time frame, and then we're pushing up in kind of ascending channel. And right now we didn't break the low. Price continue to push up. There's a possibility we could form a head and shoulder pattern. This is kind of what I'm seeing right now. Or is this going to continue pushing up and all this becomes not really a structure and we're just going to see price push up to the top again, to the top here, right? So another reason double top, kind of an M style pattern scoop, and then still dropping down like this, right? So if there's no entry, guys, there's no trade, right? I got a message, someone says, they enter a trade, and I asked, what is your entry? What is your confluence to enter the sell? They couldn't answer me, and I said, because you mentioned there's a sell. I mentioned there's a sell, of course, right? But I also mentioned you need confirmation, you need to develop your entries, and you need to look for, bearish kind of price action. I'm not seeing much bearish price action at the moment yet, right? I was looking at this when this price breaks down. I was looking for a continuation if that's going to happen, but again, there's no continuation correction. We pushed the price down. There was just nothing happening in this area to push the price lower. They're kind of right. So that's how you're going to save capitals when there's no confirmation, guys. Okay, so anyways, that's what I see on Kiwi Swiss. Okay, any question, guys, on any of the pairs that I just went over on currency? I'm happy to answer. I think I went over all the market here. So anything you're looking at that I haven't gone over, let me know now. But yeah, that's a good question. How many pips below the correction you recommend setting up the sell stop? In my ebook, I talk about usually 2 pips would be okay. But obviously it depends on the correction it's making. So maybe give you an example. Is that so for instance, for this buy opportunity, you see how I just set the stop entry order above the previous high, right? I think there's a few pips here. This is commodities, of course, but same idea. If you're looking for a buy on currency pair, I just set the entry above the previous high of the correction, and I usually set the stop loss below the previous low of the correction. Really, there's no one way or wrong way of setting this. The point is you want to protect your trade, right? Meaning that you want to make sure your stop loss is protecting people a lot. I think a lot of new traders really don't understand when it comes to stop losses. Sometimes they don't set stop loss. I'm kind of amazed that they don't set stop loss. The stop loss is in place so that you protect your capital, you protect your trade. Okay, in case the trade doesn't work out, you're at most losing like 1% or whatever amount that you set for. And when they just let the stop loss open, what if the trade start collapsing, right? A trade that you're supposed to only lose 1%, now you lose like 3 or 4, right? And then they get emotional, they're gonna revenge, and everything happens in the blink of an eye. The moment you make a mistake, the moment your emotion comes into your trading, that's when you start revenge trading, over trading, start entering random in hope to make back your money, and they're just gonna lose more and more and more and more until there is no more to lose, right? I'm sorry I talk about this a lot because I get these experiences from so many people when I ask them about their experience, and I tell them to be honest with me because I can help them to with their journey and what's wrong with their past. And usually that's what I hear over and over again from people is they even admit themselves later on is they enter too many positions, they're just randomly entering positions on their phone, they're revenge trading, they're over leverage trading in hope. Uh, on what point did you move your stop loss to break even on sugar? Always when I break the previous high. So when this was going up, I wasn't looking to set a move my stop loss yet, but when we kind of just retrace and then push back, so there was a small correction here. We break the previous high, and then I move my stop loss break even. Hey, TradingView, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, everyone's day is going well. Have a good 2021. Thank you. Okay, so that's my management on sugar. So I'm still at break even for sugar. Haven't moved it yet. I might move it after, but I'm not too worried about it. Like I said, my my um my long-term approach is certainly going for the upside, right? So I'm not too worried about missing 1 or 2% here because I understand the upside. I don't want to choke this trade because you can see it's only about 2.7 to 1 that it's at right now. I'm happy with the break even. I'm happy to see a correction if that's going to do, or just a complete breakout and followed by more correction. I will certainly be looking for a scale in opportunity if like this. Certainly be looking for a scale in entry when that happens. Uh, I'll to focus on the coming days. Sugar one. If we break out and continue, that's one. Gold is certainly not another one. So let's talk about gold. Someone asked about gold as well. So what I see on gold, very clearly that I'm looking for continuation. I'm looking for lower time frame continuation. So on a higher time frame, this to me is that flag kind of structure, a continuation, and we're breaking out now, which is good. But I'm not just going to enter a buy here. I mentioned that many times. Is when price breaks out, that's a first confirmation. Second confirmation would be looking for a continuation correction. All right, something like this, right? This is a continuation to sell. Something like this is a continuation to sell. It's very clear, right? You want to see the similar kind of continuation here to give you that one last confirmation that we're seeing this bullish move to the upside, at least to the previous top. Certainly good enough risk reward here to get 3 to 1 or so. That's always in my management plan to look for a trade, at least 3 to 1 risk reward. So that's all I want to see is price consolidating here, hopefully through the new Asian, and then look for a confirmation to go for the buy. Okay, and I also talk about this that there's also a small possibility chance that we can see this as a ascending channel. I think someone mentioned about that as well, and I do agree this can push down all the way to the lows. But structurally, nothing changes. All you see is the structure becomes this. It's a bigger structure. And we make the push down once more, completing 1, 2, 3 for the structure, and then we still take off on the bottom. Right? That's also a possibility as well. So that's always what I keep in back of my head is, yes, I'm seeing a bullish push, a bullish bias, but I also don't want to be blind for other kind of bias as well. Right? That's how trading is you have a bias, you find as much confluence for the buy, great, but you also see why there's a merit for the sell if it plays out, if this kind of correct itself and push down, correction to go lower, then you know that the higher time frame structure isn't finished. We're just getting evolved into a larger structure, and ultimately, when correction finishes, we're still going to take off because the higher time frame structure and price does not change. Right? The higher time frame nature of the market is still in a bullish trend, and we're just seeing a bullish continuation correction. And once that finishes, we can resume the next bullish trend. Okay, so that's what I see on gold. So when I watch, well, so I can mention sugar, gold. For crypto, I'm certainly seeing Stella. Stella is the one I'm looking at now. It's breaking up massively, which is great. This is exactly kind of what I'm forecasting to happen. So, right, prime example, just like gold, we break up now. Are we gonna jump into the buy? Nope, we're confirmation, right? We break out now, so confirmation here. Is it going to form correction or just push up higher form correction? Doesn't really matter. The point is that's how you're going to confirm that we're going to continue the bullish move. Okay, and that's very key here in my opinion to be just that extra cautious. You have form. Don't jump into here until you see the next confirmation for the buy here. All right. Litecoin is certainly one I'm looking at as well. We've been breaking up very impulsively already. So for me, looking for a larger continuation here would be nice. Ethereum mentioned that I want to see a bigger structure here in the making before we continue off. The buy was already down here. I think if we miss this buy, there's not much buy opportunity in this area. Bitcoin, talk about this, is this waiting for a correction to finish here for the upside. That's all I see this on that. But this correction can go longer and deeper, so be careful. For indices, still looking at most of the US indices. So I like how we are, for NASDAQ, I like how we break out now. So I want to wait for a confirmation correction here, making it a head and shoulder here as well for the downside. S&P, similarly, can we form a correction here to break out and then look for a correction after breakout for the sell? Dow Jones, similar, wait for a correction after breakout would be nice, the safer entry here. So all the US indices certainly on my watch list for that upcoming days of the bearish momentum to happen. Okay. I lost, yeah, I'm so sorry, I totally missed that. Okay. So those are the indices I'm looking at. Let's go back to currency at the end. Yeah, I totally forgot the peso. Sorry. Um, so this is what I see on dollar peso. We had this descending channel. It's still very indecisive and corrective. Remember, I don't know if you guys recall, I got in the buy here and I took a loss here. I originally had the structure like this. We had this kind of descending channel to the up continuation correction on the lower time frame. So I entered that. I was a clear kind of correction after breakout entry, and happy to take this trade. Happy to take a loss here, to be honest, and then move on and then look for other opportunities. So right now, because this is still consolidating, still correcting, we had this fake breakout, but then no continuation to go higher. Instead, we're just still kind of bouncing off these trend lines here and here. So I want to see a confirmation breakout, confirmation correction out of this channel would be ideal for the buy here. So any question, guys? Any other question I can kind of go over? Happy to answer these questions if you guys have. Yeah, no problem. What about XRP? Not really favoring XRP because of all this Ripple news that comes in, right? So yeah, I'll go over that. So XRP, I didn't like how we just dropped down after all this that SEC, that federal lawsuit case or whatever, right? Originally, I was looking for the buy. If you guys recall, they had a clear channel. We break up. There was a small lower time frame correction. Pushed the upside, and it's just taking me out here for a loss here. But that's when I realized that this wasn't enough to continue higher, and then sure enough, after that happened. So I'm actually very happy that I take a loss here. I'm not like holding the trade or anything. This is a key about setting your stop loss and then wait for better opportunities, right? So I'm not seeing too much on Ripple because we already pushed down to pretty much all the way to the previous low where it take off. Okay, and I don't really like what I'm seeing here. Let's more continuation to the downside, and I don't like that at all. Okay, so not seeing anything, but something could turn up if we just correctively move down to the previous low here, previous bottom here, and then maybe some bullish activity can happen. But I'm not really seeing that either because I don't like to try to enter what people say catching a falling knife, right? Trade is going down, and then I don't want to catch a falling knife to trying to go long, whereas this is such a sharp momentum to the downside. Okay. Can I go over VIX? Are you talking about VIX or some other stock? Okay. I think this is pretty interesting price action. I like how we're in this kind of a descending channel, which is great. We had this impulse up and we just had this larger peer consolidation. This can even go all the way down to the previous low. Probably better to go down to the previous low. So we have a double bottom here, and all this correction price action is leaning towards a push to the upside, followed by more correction to go. So I do like this type of price action here for continuation. I do like how all this corrective price action is okay to because we're building up momentum, right? We have seen similar price action in the past, right? We have descending channel, and once the momentum is when we see huge. So it's the same thing here, guys. And this is why what makes price action a little bit more clear to analyze the market is you're going to see similar price action and it varies in sizes, it varies in length, but it's the same idea, right? It is a reversal structure building up all this corrective phrase. And then, okay, so that's why I see on this VIXY. How often do I stream? I try to do 3 times a week. So I try to do a weekly outlook on Monday or Sunday night. I'm talking about GMT time, by the way. And then a week on TradingView and on YouTube. So plug. What do you mean by plug? Plug stock. Where am I from? I'm from Canada, Vancouver, Canada. I'm just looking at because I've never seen this stock, so I'm just looking at what stock this is. That's all. It's actually pretty interesting that because we're just in a massive bullish push, right? But I also see that price has been much, much, much higher in the past. So all this period is a consolidation period, right? We actually have a strong bullish push to the upside now, which is great. On the daily, you can see that there was obviously actions to push the price up, right? There's no question about that. Personally, I would wait for a bigger correction now to take it long because we have been moving so much in the bullish trend. This is kind of the same idea as gold that I just went over, right? Gold was in this big bullish push. There was a few correction to push the, and then finally at the very top, it was just building momentum for a correction to push up higher. Okay, so that's what I see on this one for now. I want to wait for a bigger correction here would be ideal for the buy here. Good stream. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Like I said, I do 3 times a week. If you guys are interested, follow me on TradingView. Follow me on Telegram. This on Telegram is where I post all my links, all my all my stream links because my update. And then this is where I do all my updates. Okay, so if you're interested, you can join that. You can get all my update notification. Uh, And on my YouTube channel, this is where I do all my educational videos. All the stream will be uploaded to YouTube and TradingView, and all my educational content is breakdown in playlists. If you guys are interested, all right. Yeah. Any other question? I'm happy to answer some questions. If you guys have any questions, I can answer some. Can you go over sugar again? Yes, I can go over sugar. Um, so I'll go sugar from a complete approach. So on the higher time frame, just zoom out here a little bit. When COVID happened, this is when COVID happened, where prices kind of continue to the upside. This is we've seen this kind of impulse correction impulse clearly, and we break the previous high of the previous high. However, we break the previous high and there is no continuation. Instead, we get this kind of a reversal impulse from the price, right? Reversal impulse. This is when COVID happens. And right when the price dropped down to the previous low, but we didn't continue either, right? We didn't continue with the continuation. Instead, we reverse impulse up. So we had a reversal impulse, and then if we go down to the lower time frame, this is just one big impulse on the higher time frame, correction, and then we had another push up, another correction, and another push up. So all this are just a good indication that price is trying to recoup the price from all this sell off, right? And we're already back at the top. You can see that we're already back at the top. And it's the same as before COVID happened, price was already trying to continue its bullish trend. It's just that when COVID happened, we'll have all this sell off. The price all the way. However, we're getting good opportunities along the way. I think there was a few buy setup. I personally got into this buy setup, but I didn't hold through all this. I think it was just end up with the 1-to-1 or break even. I forgot what it was. But looking back at all this, that we have been in the bullish trend. So this is all with the risk here. I like how this is a continuation correction. I like how we had a breakout and then a lower time frame correction to get in. I'm happy with about 2.7 to 1 if the price is going to react in this area. If it's not going to continue, I'm happy with either break even or potential that if we just continuously break above this previous area and then continue, then I'm certainly going to hold the first trade and might look to scale in the second trade as well to continue. Okay, so hope that helps on that question. It's not because I'm trading commodity. It's not because I'm trading sugar. So my approach is this. It's the same approach with anything else that I do. Okay, and that's the same because you have to keep it simple but the same. You can't just choose based on emotion. Like, okay, I decide to enter here and exit here. And no, that's how you get too much emotion involved into your trading. You need to have a trading plan. I talk about this many times. Trading plan, risk management, and understanding what you want, who you are, and what you want as a trader, right? If you're a trader, what's your expectation of trading? Are you looking to make 20, 30% a month? Or are you looking to be consistent, making less percentage, but consistently throughout the month, years, and things like that to grow your account, right? It's all about perspective. You can have a perspective of trying to be a millionaire in 1 year and end up over trading, over risking, and end up losing money and give up. Or you can have a better approach to trading. You understand that trading is a long-term game. The first few years, you're not likely to make profit if you're likely to make losses, but that's how you learn and that's how you improve as a trader. And after you've been through the first few years, you understand trading more, and then you understand your plan, your strategy, and your risk management. Then trading will be so much easier when you keep emotion out of trading, and then your trading journey will just take off. It just takes off naturally when you understand all those concepts, right? When you understand you're not here to hold a trade from all the way to the bottom to all the way to the top. You think that if you don't do that and you're not a good trader, wrong. You're a trader. You're trying to get in, you're trying to get out, right? You're not an investor where you're going to hold a trade for years. You're in trading because you want to get in and get out. You earn profit, you compound your account, and you look for next entry, and you do the same repeatedly over and over again. So you continuously compound your account, and it's going to be a little bit bigger than your previous trade, and your percentage of your account continue to go up. All right. So I hope that helps in that sense. Which broker do I use? Sorry, I missed some questions. Which broker do I use? For for crypto, I use Coinbase and BitBuy, and for equities and things like that, I just use my local TD Canada Trust broker. It's just a national bank in Canada. I don't need a Robinhood broker or anything like that because I'm not trading stocks like a day trading. I'm buying stocks as an investment. I'm holding stocks for a long term. This is the difference now is I'm an investor when it comes to equities, but I'm a trader when it comes to Forex and things like that because I have more exposure to Forex and I'm fine with the risk with Forex already. I don't need to day trade stocks to add more risk to my portfolio or capital. I like to hold stocks for a long term, so I don't usually sell or short sell stocks in that sense. Uh, Do I recommend using indicators for confirmation? Personally, no. I have nothing against people who use that, so don't quote me. But you can see I don't use indicators. I'll be honest with that. I think I made a post about indicators or EMA things like that. It's not that they don't work. Is that when you pair too many things on the chart, let's say when you have indicators going like this and you have a bunch of indicators on the bottom working out, but if you combine these with, let's say price action, the way how I trade, you're just going to have a lot of negative confluence against each other, like conflicting interests. Like I'll be entering a buy, and then maybe there's some EMA lines here or whatever, and you're like off the EMA line, or some support resistance line going through, and you're afraid to trade through that, or you think a support resistance would be a stop loss. Um, Usually, when you're paying too much things together, it's not likely to work out. And this is why I like to keep my charts as simple as possible. Just all I need is really trend. I don't really even need trend lines, to be honest. I talk about this is like I can trade without trend lines like this. I totally understand what the market is telling me. I see this as an impulse, this is a correction, this is an impulse, this is a correction, this is an impulse, this is a correction, and this is the next impulse, right? So I don't need the trend line. The trend line is more just for me to post analysis, or when I do streams, it's easier to see. But ultimately, when you backtest enough, when you see charts every day for years, it comes to you naturally. It's like any profession, guys. There's no quick way around it. You just have to put in the time and effort to really do backtesting, do forecasting, work on your chart work on your analysis. It will come to you in time, right? You don't think a doctor who are practicing medicine suddenly become a surgeon in like 1 year, right? It just doesn't work that way, guys. Right? Trading is no difference. It's just there's no barrier to trading. There's no license required for you to do trading. You can be, 17-year-old kid and you open a trading account, right? No restriction to that. So this is why the industry has so many people who lose money or give up, because there's no barriers, right? There's no license require you to do this, right? There's no for you. Anybody can open a broker account and deposit money and start trading, right? And unfortunately, this is why a lot of people also lose money, because they don't have that restriction, they don't have that barrier, right? And people always think trading is somewhat easy, because of social media, because of all these telling you, if you buy their things, buy their whatever, you're gonna make money easy. Here, I'm not speculating any of those people. I'm not here to say all that stuff, but my point is, it's never easy, right, guys? Those of you guys who got into trading, thinking trading would be easy from all those advertisement and YouTube channels that telling you how easy it is if you join their program or buy their things, and then when you actually executing it, it becomes so much different, right? And that's really my point in trying to get across is I never ever say trading is easy. I actually think trading is probably the hardest thing you can do in your life. But if you can do it well, if you're willing to put in time and effort, um, you can succeed, right? But most of the time, people give up halfway, or they lose interest, or they're afraid to be wrong. A lot of psychological things, and they end up quitting. First year or half month. Within the same year, a lot of traders usually give up, right? And this is a long haul game. You have to be around for years for you to be consistent, and then trading will start taking off, right? But most people cannot, you know, wait until that threshold. They usually do not reach that threshold, and then they, for whatever reason, they give up, right? So, you guys some idea of my understanding of trading. Hope that gives you my honesty and transparent when it comes to trading, because that's exactly the message I'm trying to pass on. Okay, so any other question, guys? Any other questions? Sorry, I missed some entries here. I missed some messages here. Is there any pairs ready to get in? Not at the moment, but maybe soon. Trading is definitely not easy. People mistake simple with easy. Exactly. Trading would be simple if you master at it, but it's certainly not easy in your beginning stage. Okay. Sir, can you explain India index? Yes. So I went over this earlier. Certainly seeing this as a potential correction. We're seeing this as a ascending kind of channel. We broke previous high, but price is rather corrective, right? We had this push down originally, but again, no continuation to push higher, push lower, sorry, and price continued to move up in this fashion again. But we're still correcting. We're still in this consolidation phase. Anything can happen this last bit of price. We can push down, followed by correction, and continue push out afterwards. Again, entry one, entry two, riskier entry, safer entry, more reward entry, less reward entry. All depends on what you are as a trader. Are you looking for maximizing reward but potential more risk? Or are you looking for more consistent approach, less reward, safer entries? Um, Great advice. Yeah. That's just my honest opinion on trading, guys. I'm sure, maybe some of you guys may disagree with me, and that's okay. You might hear trading differently from other people. You might see trading differently as others as well. And there's no right and wrong. There's right on trading, right? I'm just giving you guys my honest opinion on trading after trading 8 years. So, I've seen so many different people get into trading, and then they don't usually last long after a year or two. It's just too stressful, too demanding, um, and it was not easy as that they think it is. And then, a lot of time people lose money in the market, and then, they'll label trading as a scam, things like that, right? And not here to speculate, but really, is trading a scam, or is the education, the social media, the general perception of trading as a scam? Because the market certainly is not a scam. I think everyone will agree. The market itself is not a scam. The market is moving. The market is There's buying and selling. The market moves, right? There's no scam in the market. But if you're talking about other services that in trading, whether it's whatever people offer, and they're not teaching you the right way, or they're not telling you the truth about trading, maybe you can say that as a scam, right? Because you're like, these guys tell me how easy trading is, but when I get into it, it's super, super hard, right? So why are they telling me that it's easy? Well, you gotta see it as what it is, right? On social media is what you see on social media is the part where they want you to see. So to demonstrate trading is easy, that you have an attachment to what they're saying, and you're likely to buy into whatever they're selling, right? And that means that they succeed on that marketing aspect or the advertising aspect. Trading is not simple. It's not you're not going to suddenly take someone's course and you become a genius in trading. It just really doesn't work that way, guys. You really have to put in the time and effort. You really need to enter trades. You need to lose money in trading. Literally, you need to lose real money in trading for you to learn, for you to grow, and for you to not make the same mistakes. Fear of missing out. Everybody made the same mistake. I made the same mistake. Fear of missing out, right? Over trading. Yeah, I made the same over trading mistake. Over leverage trading. Yeah, I make the same mistakes. There's no question about it. Everybody who trade will go through that phase of learning process where you're going to make a lot of mistakes, and you're going to make those mistakes right away. Whether or not you acknowledge those are your mistakes and you want to work on it is a different story. Most people will just start blaming the market, blaming their strategy, blaming their mentor. But the key is, no one is forcing you to enter a trade. No one's forcing you to um, do anything. It's all up to you, and it's all up to your head to enter and exit positions. So at the end of the day, no one is forcing you to do anything except yourself, right? So you just have to understand that in order for you to be a consistent trader, right? The market isn't doing anything. Your strategy, your mentor isn't doing anything. Who's right? You just have to get that in your head. Um, Sorry, I missed some questions. Trading. Are you talking about scalping? I don't scalp, but if you're talking about day trading, then any lower time frame would be okay. So 4 hour, 1 hour, 30 minutes. Those are lower time frame that you can possibly look for entries. Um, what do you think about journaling? Was it good for you to become better? I mean, putting all the time to analyze your mistakes? Absolutely. I make several videos on journaling. If you're interested in my YouTube, there's videos on how to journal and things like that. So if you're interested, watch that because journaling is absolutely crucial when it comes to trading. And I'm surprised when I do coaching sessions when people say they don't do journal. I'm kind of shocked because how are you going to improve if you don't do journaling, right? How are you going to remember your mistakes if you don't do journaling? And you need to journal all your trades, whether win or losses, especially losses, because that's how you're going to learn, right? Without journaling, you're just going to purposely pretend that it didn't happen. It's in our human mind to not accept mistakes. Okay, it's just we're programmed into that from birth. We don't want to be told we're wrong. If you guys can recall, we relate to this is no one wants to be told they're wrong. Period. It hurts their ego. It hurts their mindset. They think I'm right. Why? Journaling, doing the journal is like admitting your mistakes, writing down your trade that went to loss, writing down your emotion, your psychology, and things like that, and so you can work on it. But a lot of people they choose to ignore that because they don't want to admit they were at fault. So remove all that, right? Start journaling, start writing down all your trades, start going through them on a weekly basis. It's going to help you to become a much better trader. Will you mention the ready pairs in the Telegram to understand more the entry confirmation? Uh, I really don't do signal, Ali. I hope you get my point. Is I don't want to do signals. I'm not here to provide signals. So this is not how I become better trader by following other people's signal. I become a better trader by continuously analyzing the chart, backtesting, forecasting, enter trades, and make mistakes. Yeah, no problem, Rolando. I just think journaling is the best thing to do. And I guess what you meant, Ali, is pairs that are ready to shape up. Yeah, I mean, you see how I do is I update. I'll try to do 3 streams a week, right? So in the streams, I'll talk about whatever pairs or whatever market is ready, and in the other 2 days, I will do that quick market update, what I did yesterday, right? So I'll do that in here. So I do will go through all the potential pairs that I think can shape up and then whatever I'm looking at can shape up either tomorrow or next 2 days, whatever. That's kind of how I plan to do that. Okay, so that's or hopefully that answers your question. Entry confirmation, right? So I'm convinced I'm going to start a journal right now after taking my 2K future. What should I use? A physical journal or written or electronic? Honestly, whatever works for you. But for me, I keep it as simple as I can. I use Google Drive and then I just create a doc sheet. So I do journal that way. I create a journal in here if you in my Telegram if you're interested. Very simple. That's all I need when I journal down trades. Um, you really preferably electronic because you can use it wherever you go, right? You don't have to bring a physical book or whatever. Preferably electronic one so you can update on a computer or if you're outside, if you have internet, you can access it right away. And that's good as well, right? So at least videos that show the valid entries. I have those. Did you not see my entry criteria video? I'm sure I have that. Let me see if I can find it. On this section, Ali, did you see some of these? They go through my entries on typical move. Yeah, my FX book is okay. I use my FX book as well sometimes for other things. Yeah. It really doesn't matter what you use, but you need to get that going right away, right? It doesn't really matter what you use, and people kind of overthink about it. Well, do I need to buy a trading journal or do I need to make one or whatever? Really doesn't matter. It's get it started right away. Even at a blank piece of paper, start taking screenshots, start writing down why you enter a trade, what's your confluence, your date, time, things like that. And then when the trade closes, take a screenshot of your closing trade and write about like your how you manage the trade, what is your exit and why, what's your emotion. Look back at it. Okay. Yeah. Good job, Ali. So any other question, guys? Any other question from me? Being live for about 2 hours now, so 2 hours and 15 minutes. Usually I don't stretch this long, but seems like there's a lot of you guys are new people, so I'm happy to discuss, right? Talk a little bit more and whatnot. But any other question, I'm happy to answer before I end the stream. Um, Not much else is happening. I think there was a question about what else I'm looking at. Well, none of the currency pairs are looking to me at the moment. They're all kind of pushing up, so I'm not really interested in any of those at the moment. Um, but something could shape up, something could reverse or whatever. So we'll still on that. So still in the two trades, sugar and Bitcoin, and that's about it. I am more favor on a couple of crypto to be going. So that seems to be the trend, guys, that we've been seeing is crypto has been going up, right? And there's a lot of opportunities to be captured as well. Okay, so how often do I stream? 3 times a week. Someone asked that earlier, sorry, or maybe I trip out. Yeah, how often do I stream? 3 times a week. I try to do that. A weekly outlook. Do a weekly outlook, talking about all the trades I'm looking for the week, and then I'll do 2 daily market updates. So the one like today in New York session, and another one likely tomorrow or the day after. Okay, and in between, I'll try to put in my quick market. So every day you'll at least get some updates from me. Okay, and I've been making trade recap videos as well, and then that's the thing I'm gonna start that I'm doing every week. At the end of the week, I'll talk about all the trades that were taken or the trades that are close. I do a trade recap videos on all of them, so it talks about my entry, my management, my exit, and my analysis, so that can give you guys a little bit more value in that area. And I tend to try to make one educational video per week as well. That will come out spontaneously throughout the week. So I try to do at least 5 videos in a week for everyone. So 3 streams, one trade recap video, and one educational video. So I try to do 5 a week. Those are all going to be on TradingView and YouTube permanently if you guys are interested. Nifty, yeah, I went over Nifty already. Nothing on Nifty yet unless I see um, confirmation breakout from here, right? Like I said, there's really and then correction, and then breakout followed by another correction. So entry is going to be like these. So that's what I see on Nifty. I'm looking forward to your next live, Ali. Yeah, appreciate it. I will post the links in Telegram. I have time, so I'm a little bit more flexible. I can do it in New York session, I can do it in London session, or I can do it in Asian session. So I can choose whatever session I want to do it at. Just kind of depends on my schedule and other things I work with other people. So I'm just trying to find time to do all those. So uh, thank you for your stream, like your understanding of the market. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate that. So I will end the stream here. Appreciate everyone's support. I see some of the new guys here. So if you like what I'm talking about, join my Telegram, join my YouTube. You'll find a lot more information there. And that's it, guys. So thank you very much, guys. Hope everyone had a good week. I mean, good day. Hope to see you guys next time. Hope to see you guys next time on another stream, either tomorrow or whenever. I'll make sure to update that in my Telegram. And that's about it, guys. So stay safe out there, stay healthy, and hope to see you guys next time. All right. Thank you very much.